In this video, I'm going to break down how to reach that first 100K in savings and or investments, step by step, and I'll share some advice I learned along the way. Whether you're making $15 an hour or $100,000 a year, the same principles apply if you follow these steps. The first step is income. You need to make money, whether that's a 9 to 5, you do contract work, you're currently part-time trying to get full-time, you have your own business, really just fill in the blank. You need to make money to save money. Sounds like an obvious one, but a lot of people out there may not grasp that concept. So, second step, track your spending. How much money you bring in a month and how much money goes out in the same month. I personally recommend taking a month or two to figure out your expenses, whether that be your bills, your groceries, rent, subscriptions, etc. Really. This will help you determine how much leftover money you have for the month after paying for your necessities. And if you have money left over, that's great. It could be as little as $50, $100, $200, pretty much whatever the number is. It's a solid starting point to build for your future, to start that investment journey. And if you end up breaking even on your take-home pay and your expenses, and you have nothing left over, go over that budget, go over your expenses, and sit down and really determine, is this item, are these items, are they a necessity? And see if there are any items on that list that you can go without. I'm not saying suffer and go without eating or eat less. I'm not saying that by any means. It could be as simple as a subscription, a Netflix subscription, a Hulu subscription, or you DoorDash a couple times a week for lunch or for dinner, or you buy lunch at work. Some simple things like that could end up saving you that $25 to $50 a paycheck, and that money could go towards investing, which I feel will suit you better in the long term than that quick dopamine hit of that Netflix show you're watching, even though it may be a good one. If you've truly cut everything you can, you've cut everything but necessities, and you still don't have any money left over, I know a lot of people may not want to hear this, but consider looking for another job, a job replacing your current one, or if your time allows, a second job, or if overtime is allowed at your current job, maybe look into that avenue. This could also be a good time to maybe start a side hustle or a side business. And I know this sounds difficult, and you're already hearing this and you're thinking, oh wow, all right, well, I'm already having to work more hours to do this investing thing, it's really just not worth it. But remember, I preach this in almost every video. Time in the market is always better than timing the market for the average Joe like you and I. And trust me, your future self will thank you. Skipping out on, a potential Netflix subscription, or, sacrificing those extra hours on a weekly basis, and, being able to bring more money home and invest that money. So step 3, let's build a cushion of cash. And, this is mostly for, if you experience a rainy day, or if an emergency comes up in life, because, as the name implies, emergency, you're really not expecting it. You're really not planning for it. So this is my recommendation of planning for that possible emergency. I know the average recommendations for emergency fund is 3 to 6 months of expenses. That really helps out in case you lose your job. A lot of people right now are getting laid off, whether it's poor job market conditions or the overall growth of AI or large language models. You get injured, you have a medical emergency, your car shits out on you, I recommend putting this fund in a high yield savings account. Just look at a high yield savings account. I always recommend you guys do your own research. Don't take my word for 100%, but just consider it like a bank account. But this type of account just allows more interest to kind of accrue on your money in there if you hit a certain threshold. So yeah, you'll pretty much, that's kind of what it is. You'll earn a high interest rate on your money, a lot more than a traditional bank. I wish I knew this a lot sooner, especially starting my early years of working. I just had all my money sitting in a bank account. And while it's nice that, I'm not spending it and it is still accruing, 1 cent every 3 months or a couple cents every year. I wish I knew, I would have stuck it in a high yield savings account. And I think you can average probably 3 to 4% interest on that money. As long as you meet the threshold. I think the threshold amount with my current high yield savings provider, I think is 5,000. So like once you hit the 5,000 threshold, you'll be getting that 3 to 4% interest on your money. So like I said, look into it. It's a lot better than sticking it in a traditional bank account. So step 4, the emergency fund is done. Let's finally get our money working for us. So I'd say one of the first things I recommend, and one of the first areas I started, is my company 401k. If your company offers a 401k, please look into it. You may possibly already be getting a percent of your paycheck taken out automatically and put into a 401k account for you. I know that's the case for a lot of companies. I know that is for mine. Like you really don't have a chance. You really don't have a choice. Like they will be taking 3% of your paycheck and putting it into their 401k or their version of a 401k. So look into that. You could already be investing in your company's 401k, which is great. That already kind of gives you a little like a leg up for people who have yet to, or that their company doesn't automatically assign people or sign people up for it. So look into it. If you're not enrolled into it, get with your like your finance department, your HR department, whoever really manages that side of it, and get enrolled in that 401k plan and, start investing into it. Most companies will most likely offer a match of some sort. So for instance, like I said, always do your research, kind of get the cold hard facts and like kind of the ultimate breakdown of it. But, high level, let's say your company offers a 3% match. If you invest 3% of your paycheck, the company will match 3%. So if that 3% comes out to be $300, if you put $300 in every month or every paycheck, however they break it down, they will also match $300. So at the end of the day, it's free money. You put $300 in, you get a free $300. That's pretty much the best bang for your buck. That's like 100% return on your money, which is awesome. So definitely utilize that. If your company offers it, it's a huge factor to reaching that millionaire status when it's time to retire. So after you meet your company's 401k match, which in my opinion is the most important, I'd say is the most important step or the first investment goal and just the overall investment strategy laid out in this video. After you hit that match, do some research on a Roth IRA. I'm not going to go into super detail in this video because I feel, just going over all these different accounts in one video it'll be like an hour-long video. So like I said, at the end of the day, always do your research. Don't take my word for 100%. Research a Roth IRA, whether on YouTube or plug it into your favorite AI tool or large language model, like ChatGPT. I know that's a fan favorite for a lot of people. Educate yourself on the account and how it works. I think that's the biggest thing of investing. Obviously consistency is a big factor, but if you're consistently investing in something you don't know, you'll be afraid to take risks. You won't truly understand where your money's going, where it's at, how the account is working. When it comes time to retire, you won't understand like all the nuances that go into it. So do your own research, guys. we have access to just so many useful tools and so much information. You'd be a fool to not educate yourself on this, especially if you plan on doing this for the next 20, 30, 40 years. So like I said, educate yourself on the account, educate yourself how it works, and start putting money into that Roth IRA with the ultimate goal of maxing out the contributions for the year. You may not reach the max of the account. That's okay. It's better than not putting any money into it. I think the max for 2025, I believe it's $7,000, either $7,000 or $7,500. So get your 401k, match it with your employer, get the 401k match, and then start working on a Roth IRA. Next goal is to max out that Roth IRA's contributions for the year. While you're researching that Roth IRA, you're going to want to know, okay, Dominic, what am I buying in this Roth IRA? Look up what is an index fund. You'll quickly learn that index funds are pretty much the average Joe's best friend to become a millionaire. Just like me and you, that's our best friend becoming a millionaire. I personally use Fidelity for my investment accounts, so I recommend ticker symbols FXKAX and FXAIX. Those stand for Fidelity's Total Market Index Fund and Fidelity's 500 Index Fund. Kind of like I mentioned before, this video would be an hour plus long if I covered all the investment services options like Fidelity, Charles Schwab, Vanguard. If I just covered all their different accounts and all their different index funds, it'd be a very long video. So pick your investment company, whoever you want to use. I personally recommend Fidelity. I'm a little biased, but like I said, do your own research, pick who best suits you, and research their index funds. Stick to ones that track the overall total market or the top 500 stocks, also known as the S&P 500. That's kind of where that term comes from. So jumping on step 5, you did your research on the investment accounts. You did your research on the index funds. You were currently already enrolled in your company's 401k and you didn't know, or you weren't, but you sat down with the right people and you enrolled in your 401k, you enrolled in your company's 401k. Now you're getting the match. Just stop for a second and congratulate yourself. Good job, everybody. That you're one step closer to achieving the millionaire status when it comes to retirement. So like I said, step 5, it's all about consistency and knowledge. Like I said, starting those accounts isn't going to make you a millionaire. If it was, I'd be a millionaire 3 years ago, but unfortunately that's not the case. The consistent investing into those accounts on a month and yearly basis is what's going to get you to that millionaire status. Whether you automate your payments to the accounts or you manually do it every month, I personally, besides my company's 401k, I manually put money into my Roth IRAs or my traditional brokerage accounts, just because, I like to log in and make sure my money's still there. And I just like seeing it slowly go up, or, if we're kind of in a bear market, sadly watching it slowly go down. But like I said, do whatever best suits you. If you want to automate it, it just takes money from your bank account every month or however you want to set that schedule to. And, as the years go on, you'll probably make more money, which will allow you to invest a larger amount per month, leading to the 8th wonder of the world, which is compounding interest. Like I said, like I've been preaching, a lot throughout this channel, time in the market is always better than timing the market. The longer you're in the market, the longer compounding interest has to grow your money. Starting today, if you were to start investing today compared to 5 to 10 years into the future, that could mean having a couple $100,000 more in your account starting now compared to if you started putting money in 10 years from now. And, just hearing that number is crazy to think about. So keep that in mind if you keep pushing it off. With that said, I wanted to mention, do not sell your stocks during a dip or crash. I know, if you sign into your account and you all you see is red, it can be demotivating. Absolutely. You're scared you're going to lose all your money, and just please do not sell your stocks during a dip or crash, because people like me look at a crash in the market like a fire sale from Call of Duty Zombies. Shout out to everybody who gets that reference. That's some OG content right there. So I saw my Clash of Clans content just ended in the background. You're looking at a black screen, so I'm going to try to wrap this up. A crash is the best time to buy stock because, kind of mentioning that fire sale, it's at a discounted price. And history has shown over the last tens of years, the market always corrects and has historically gone up. So just stick out the crash, stick out the bear market, buy extra when you can. You're golden. Step 6. Enjoy the process, guys. Don't go crazy. Plan for your future, but don't go crazy. I mentioned this in some videos before, but I aggressively save and invest. I'm able to save 50% plus of my income, and I just invest it. I stick anything extra I have into the market. Sure, this is nice. I'm gonna achieve my goals faster than if I didn't put as much in, but at the same time, I'm not enjoying my time right now. I'm not going on fancy vacations or places I've always wanted to go. I'm not buying fancy toys or fancy trips. I'm not really enjoying it as much as I could be, and this is definitely a goal of mine to try to reel back a little bit, or at least put money to the side where, hey, I'm not investing this, I'm not spending this willy-nilly. This is for me to personally enjoy. So just a little rant there for me personally, but just overall, enjoy the process, guys. Don't go crazy with it. Don't be afraid to set some money aside to enjoy, save for a vacation, put money towards a passion project. You're building a fancy car, you're building a toy. You might have a business idea. If you put a little money into that business idea, who knows, it may take off. You may be able to, quit your 9-to-5 or just go fully solo entrepreneur. Maybe it's something fun you like to do. Just remember, you can't take anything with you when you leave this earth. So save smartly for the future, invest for the future, but don't forget about your present self. I think your future self will thank you that you took care of your present self. So I'm ending it here, guys. As always, thank you for listening to me ramble. This video definitely went on a little longer, but if this video helped you at all, please, give it a like, comment, subscribe. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comment section. More than willing to hop on a Discord call with you, or, I'll just interact with you in the comment section to help you just kind of ease your nerves. And if you have any questions from this video, like I said, please feel free to let me know. And feel free to check out my other videos. These past couple of videos have, for my channel size, low-key been blowing up, so I really appreciate all the support these past couple months. And those other videos, discussions range from all sorts of topics. Money, life, freedom, whether that be financial freedom, freedom with time, whatever the case may be. I think you'll find something you connect with. Till next time, everybody, the lunch table out.